Picture this, a bright spring afternoon in a city square that's been simmering with tension for days. Protesters, counter-protesters, camera crews, courthouse staff, it's all noise and color and banners, until one moment snaps the air in half. A petite black federal judge in a gray suit and pearl earrings steps to a microphone to explain why a high-profile police case will get a fair trial. She clears her throat, steadies her notes. Justice isn't fast, but it's real, she says. A beat later, two men in tactical gear surge up the courthouse steps like she's a suspect at a crime scene. "Step away from the mic, ma'am. I'm Judge Alana Brooks," she says, bewildered. "You're making a mistake. Cameras catch every word." "She's the judge," someone yells. The officers don't slow down. One grabs her arm, the other shoves her forward, and the country watches as her head hits the marble step with a crack that echoes through 1,000 living rooms. Blood trickles down her forehead. She's cuffed like a common criminal on live television. I know, because that was the moment America met Judge Alana, and it was the moment everything she believed about the system broke wide open. Alana grew up in Meridian, Mississippi, the daughter of two public school teachers who'd marched in the tail end of the civil rights movement. She sat at the kitchen table at 8 years old, listening to her dad explain why someone had smashed their car windows after he volunteered to register black voters. That was the night she decided she'd never be scared into silence. Fast forward 30 years, and she's the first black woman on the federal bench in her district, known for reading every brief, calling out sloppy police testimony, and keeping a small, tight circle of people she trusts: her law clerk, Jonah, her daughter in med school, a handful of old friends. The morning of the incident started like any other. Coffee at 6:30, protest chants faint through her office window. On her desk, an envelope with a crude target drawn over her face. Just one more threat in a month full of them. "They're trying to rattle you," Jonah warned. "Let the marshals beef up your security." Alana sighed. "We don't cancel court because of bullies." By noon, the courtroom was full of reporters and family members of a 17-year-old named Tyler Rhodes, shot 4 times at a traffic stop by Officer Dan Riley. A new witness had come forward, saying Riley used a racial slur before firing. The stakes were huge. The defense wanted the case thrown out. Alana refused. "We'll see this evidence in a full trial," she ruled, her voice steady, while the gallery buzzed. Outside, the chants grew louder. Inside, she straightened her robe, ready to face the press. Jonah tried one last time. "Judge, please skip the statement today." Too many unknowns in that crowd. Alana's jaw set. Silence breeds rumor. They deserve to hear from the court directly. You already know what happened next: the surge of tactical officers who didn't recognize or pretended not to recognize her. The takedown. The blood. Jonah slammed against a police van for trying to intervene. The video looped on every network within minutes. Hashtags, "Have justice for the judge," out Alana Brooks, shot to the top of Twitter. Anchors stumbled over words like unprecedented and shocking. Even police unions held off on their usual knee-jerk defense. That night, while Alana's head wound got stitched in a precinct back room and she was fingerprinted like a suspect, the mayor held a press conference, calling it an unfortunate misunderstanding. The city's DA floated a settlement, 7 figures, no admission of wrongdoing. Alana stared him down. "So that's how much the Constitution costs now?" she asked quietly, then sent him packing. The next morning, a surprise visitor appeared at her door. Senior Judge Raymond Beckett, a 70-year-old conservative she'd sparred with for years, laid a thick file on her kitchen table. "This isn't new," he said. 17 judges intimidated, stalked, or harassed in the past 3 years. Traffic stops, home break-ins, threats to family. We called it coincidence. I don't anymore. Around the same time, investigative reporter Mia Tran slid a flash drive across a cafe table to Alana's clerk. It held deployment orders for a special response unit sent to the courthouse that day, off-the-books shifts, unusual chain of command. And then came Marcus Lee, a young cop with haunted eyes, saying he couldn't stay silent anymore. "We were told to neutralize a black woman at the mic," he said. "They gave us your description." That's when Alana realized she wasn't dealing with a bad day. She was staring at a machine built to scare judges off police misconduct cases. They called it the compliance team. Its job: make sure prosecutors, witnesses, and judges understood their place. Anonymous threats, fake traffic stops, even targeting family members. City Hall moved fast. A gag order. A hearing to kick Alana off the Tyler Rhodes case. Smear pieces about her college activism. Someone broke into her house, rifled through drawers, scrawled, "Even judges bleed on her mirror," in lipstick. Jonah showed her security footage of two maintenance men picking her office lock. "They're getting desperate," Alana whispered. "That means we're close." Inside the courtroom at the recusal hearing, the city sent a full legal cavalry. "She can't be impartial," the ADA said, voice smooth as butter. "She was attacked by police. How can she judge them fairly?" Civil rights attorney Damon Fields rose on her behalf. "Your Honor, that's exactly backwards," he said. "You're telling every cop in America, rough up a judge you don't like, and she's off your case." Gasps and murmurs rolled through the gallery. Evidence spilled out like a thriller. Marcus's testimony piped in over Secure Link, Beckett's dossier of patterns, Mia's investigative timeline. Then Alana herself stood, bandage still visible. "If you remove me," she said, "you reward intimidation. You tell every officer they can pick their judge with handcuffs instead of legal briefs." Her voice cracked but didn't break. "I'm not here for revenge. I'm here to keep my oath." The ruling stunned the room. Gag order vacated, recusal denied, case stays with Judge Brooks, and a referral straight to the U.S. Justice Department for possible civil rights violations. Outside, thousands cheered as she walked down the same steps where she'd been slammed days earlier, this time flanked by U.S. Marshals, not local police. But the other side didn't quit. Marcus disappeared from witness protection. Beckett's car accidentally ran off the road. Mia uncovered a recording from Tyler Rhodes' cloud account, the lieutenant who ordered the tactical unit bragging about sending a message to every black robe. Financial records showed the police union funneling millions to a security firm owned by the brother-in-law of the judge who issued the gag order. The conspiracy wasn't local, it was national. Alana saw the trap closing and flipped the board. She recused herself from both cases, but before stepping down, appointed an independent special prosecutor with extraordinary powers, an order so airtight the city couldn't touch it. "Sometimes you have to step outside the system to save it," she murmured to Jonah. 6 months later, the special prosecutor had indicted over 50 officers across 3 states, toppled a police union president, and forced the resignation of the mayor. Congress passed the Judicial Protection and Law Enforcement Accountability Act, the Brooks Act, creating new safeguards for judges and independent prosecutors for police misconduct cases. And there was Alana at the Department of Justice, scar faint on her forehead, receiving an award for distinguished service to American justice. She looked out at a crowd of reformers, lawyers, and cops who'd chosen accountability over silence. Marcus Lee was there too, alive and free, running an organization of officers fighting for change. Beckett had retired, but stood beside her, proof that principle can cross ideology. Mia held a Pulitzer for the investigation that cracked the case. Not everyone forgave. Not everyone reformed. But even one of the men who'd grabbed her on the courthouse steps showed up that night in a plain gray suit, asking to apologize. "I thought the badge made me the good guy," he said. "I was wrong." Alana's smile was small but real. Her trauma hadn't vanished. She still startled at loud knocks, still double-checked her locks, but she turned her public humiliation into a movement that outlived the headlines. "I'm telling you this not as a fairy tale, but as a reminder. That whole arc from being slammed on live TV to rewriting federal law started with one woman saying no to a hush money settlement. It happened because a judge, a clerk, a cop, a journalist, and even an old rival refused to play along with a rotten game. So here's my question for you. If you were in Alana Brooks's shoes, blood on your face, cameras rolling, the entire system against you, would you fight back or walk away? Do you believe our institutions can still change from the inside, or does it take blowing them up from the outside to get real accountability? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. 1, if you believe the system can be fixed. 2, if you think it's too broken to save. And if this story hit you in the gut, share it with someone who needs a reason to keep fighting. Because justice doesn't move on its own, people move it. And sometimes one person refusing to be silenced can shift an entire country.